Hello, everybody, and welcome to the devotion today from Psalm 133. And I have to say that this is one of my favorite little psalms. I just love the two images that are described in it. And the first one speaks about oil pouring down Aaron's beard, pouring down down his beard, from his head over his beard, down on his cloak. And I don't know about you, but it freaks me out to think about oil pouring over someone's head and down someone's beard and down someone's body like that. It sounds pretty gross, in fact, to think about that. But then as I think about that, I think, well, that just makes me a Westerner. Because a few years ago, several years ago, in fact, I visited Uzbekistan. And we were visiting some family that were living there at the time, and they took us to all their friends for dinner. We went to several homes and enjoyed a meal with each of them. And in every single time, we were served a dish called osh. And osh is basically a rice dish with vegetables and meat all mixed up together. And what they do is they put it in a common bowl, and you have a fork or spoon, and you each lean over and take the meat or the food out of the bowl, and everyone shares the same bowl. And they say, and this is why I tell you that story, they say that the better the osh is, the more as you take the food out of the bowl, the oil drips down your arm. And the better the osh is, the more it drips down. And I don't know about you, but that also freaks me out. It's not something that I consider to be beautiful and great, but they did, and they do. And so did the people of Israel, as they thought about Aaron, their high priest, being anointed into office so that he would serve them as their representative to God and God's teacher of his things to them. So that's the first picture. It's a beautiful picture. And the second picture is that the dew that falls on Mount Hermon is like it would do in Mount Zion. Now, Mount Hermon is on the northern part of Israel, and it is the highest mountain in Israel, and the climate is such that very heavy dews fall at the top of the mountain. Mount Zion is obviously Jerusalem, and that is a desert area, and it is dry, dry, dry. And in fact, there's no proper water source to Jerusalem. And so water has always been a bit of a problem for Jerusalem and has made them vulnerable to sieges. And so what the psalmist imagines is that abundance of water in the morning from the thick, heavy dew that comes from Mount Hermon, he imagines that being on Mount Zion, and it gives him great joy, gives him great satisfaction as he thinks about how God blesses his people and how he might do it like that. And so those are two pictures of abundance. They're pictures of joy. They're pictures of happiness. They're lovely images. And what the psalmist says is that it is similarly blessed when the brothers of Jesus Christ, or the brothers of Israel, dwell together in unity. That's the kind of blessing. That's the kind of good thing that it is. And I want you to think about that for a moment. The united witness of the church as we come together, as we unite together. And we've not been able to be together literally for many weeks, several months now. But as we come together, as we meet together, as we worship the Lord together, it is something that should be a great joy and bring great happiness into our hearts. And certainly it did for the psalmist. And I pray that it would do so for us as much. The problem, of course, is that for many of us, church is a bit of a drag. Church can become a bit of a burden, and it's not always pleasant. Eugene Peterson says, well, that's obvious because it's people meeting together, and it's brothers and sisters meeting together. And what happens when brothers stay together? Well, they fight, don't they? That's what happens in most homes. They stand by each other, they love each other, but they fight bitterly. And sometimes that happens in church too. We fight and we struggle. But the truth is that we love each other because together we love Jesus, and Jesus loves us. And he doesn't just love me, and he doesn't just love you singular. He loves us all together. And so we are blessed when we come together. And may we see it like that. May we have a heartfelt view of church like the Bible does. And if we don't, let's ask God to give us such a situation or such an opinion and such a feeling, because blessed it is when the brethren of Jesus, when the brothers and sisters of Christ dwell together in unity.